guys, after beating Boston, DeJounte and Derrick came up here and talked about immediately turning your sights toward these guys tonight. Is that a sign of growth after, letting their guard down after the previous game?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we've been harping on all season long. When we get a win, just basically trying to, have that carryover to the next game. Letting that win get thrown out of the window. Not forget about it, but throw it out the window because we got another game coming up. So, that's always been the case for us all season long. Just trying to make sure we get to the next game and continue to, have a swing of momentum and have a shift towards, just trying to build a streak.
Pop was happy with your minutes, gave him a big lift in the second half. What's your approach? You're getting minutes when Docker was out, now they're kind of hard to come by sometimes. What's your approach?
Same as it's always been. Always be ready. Just do what I've been doing for years. 15-year career, you don't just be here, just by being here. You're here because of a level of consistency, a level of professionalism, and a level of always being ready. For me, that's what it's always been about. Even though I'm not playing a lot of minutes, I still go to the gym. I'm doing things that a 15-year veteran shouldn't be doing. I'm playing 3-on-3. Getting some runs in with some of the guys that's not playing with, as much as well. With some of the coaches, staying after practice and getting shots up, doing conditioning. Just staying ready. When my number's called, just being ready to go out there and compete. I understand how to play this game. I understand, what I need to do as far as my job going out there, and that's to help the young guys continue to get better and also help our team win and bring energy.
Kind of got to feel good for a guy like Derrick White, who's sort of had to battle through some things this year and have a game like this, and really a second half like this tonight.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, last few games he's been playing really, really well. He's been going out there. I think the confidence level is kind of peaked up for him. After you see a few shots start to go in, then you start to get back to your old self, and I think he's getting back to his old self. He's very confident. He's going out there. He understands the task at hand, and he's just playing off the reads that's being given to him, and he's just playing basketball. That's the biggest thing. When you walk out there on the court, you just play basketball. Have as much fun as possible. Try not to think too much about it, and just play the game.
Can you see a guy's body language when that confidence rises? Can you see it in the way he carries himself, and some of the moves he makes, the shots he takes?
Yeah, I think that's with any player. When you see the confidence level go up, they start to do a lot of different things with the basketball. They start to have a little pep in their step. They start to have a little bit more energy throughout the course of games, and it's less head dropping and more holding their heads high. And I think that's what's been the turning point for them.
When he and DJ are both firing off,
hard to stop.
Yeah.
Hard to stop. They're a really good 1-2 punch, and when they're just taking turns going back and forth, it's hard for a team to kind of pick that apart, and it's hard for a team to keep up with that. The energy level, between those two guys, and them being the engines to our car, it's just hard to stop when those two guys get it going.
When you look at the backcourts in this league, the guys tonight, Bradley and Dinwiddie, and then the guys you got coming up, Portland, Golden State. I mean, is it almost mandatory that your backcourt has to be able to play with their backcourt to at least
Yes.
win the ball game?
Yes, every single night. Like I said, if those two guys get it going, that's a tough 1-2 punch to stop. Both really good guards in this league, and both understand how to play the basketball game. Like I said, we have a tough task coming up. With these next few games on the road, we got to be ready because those are some tough backcourts and some tough guards that's going to be coming out there after. So, those guys got to be ready to take on the challenge.
Young Joshua Primo came in, continues to do what he does, not be intimidated at all.
Yeah.
Continue to amaze you.
For sure. For sure. His level of confidence, is unheard of for a kid his age. Has he turned 19 yet?
Wow.
Okay, so
December 24th. Yeah.
so for a kid his age at 18 years old, his level of confidence is, through the roof. He's not afraid to take a shot. He's not afraid to get after it on the defensive side of the basketball. He's not afraid. I think the biggest thing is he's not afraid to make mistakes. A lot of guys are afraid to make mistakes, and when they do make a mistake, they immediately start looking over at coach and stuff like that. He's not that guy. He's a guy that's going to go out there and be confident in everything he's doing, and he's just going to play basketball. He understands that he just needs to play basketball. He's going to continue to grow, and he's being groomed at this point, and he's doing a hell of a job every time he goes out there on the court.
You talked about doing veteran things, 15 years. What do your off seasons look like, and what have you learned, about keeping your career going? What are the things, little secrets that you do to?
My off seasons is, obviously, a lot of time with my family, my two boys. Just trying to make sure I give them all the time in the world, along with my wife. But when they understand that I do play basketball, they understand that I am in the NBA. So a lot of time goes into the weight room and going into my craft. I'm putting in hours and hours of work. That doesn't stop. That continues to go. And I'm working each and every day. Just like year one. So it's continuous work, hours and hours of preparation to continue to be able to play this game that we all love. So and that's never gonna stop. The day I feel I can't do it anymore, that's when I retire. But I'm still able to play the game at a high level. I'm still able to go out there and continue to work, and I don't mind putting in the work. It's just work. That's all it is. And I've never been afraid to work. So that's what I'm going to continue to do.
Thanks, I appreciate it.